The morning chill still lingers in the air when two men make their way into a forest in Kenya's Rift Valley region. With well-worn tools, one of them begins to make a fire the traditional way. And with a bowl of smoke, he scales a tree to an old beehive, suits the bees, and harvests honey. These are the old ways of the Ogiek community. This forest is home to the Ogiek community. It is a place where they can come to practice their cultures and traditions. However, this space is shrinking in a manner that is likely to impact both their memories of the past as well as their plans for the future. The Ogiek are an indigenous Kenyan community. This group lives around Kenya's Mau Forest, the country's largest water tower. They describe themselves as hunters and gatherers and traditional protectors of the forest.
We have always lived on the honey we collect, gathered wild fruit and hunted wild animals.
But life has changed greatly in recent years. The Ogiek claim that the British colonialists divided up the forest land that was the Ogiek's home, a practice that continued even after independence. In 2009, the Kenya Forestry Service ordered the eviction of the Ogiek community from the Mau forest, claiming they were destroying it. For decades, they've lived on the fringes of the forests they once inhabited.
There are traditions that we used to do that we don't do anymore because we used to do them in the forest.
So in 2009, they moved to court in a bid to regain their ancestral land. 8 years later, the African Court on Human and People's Rights ruled in the Ogiek's favor. The court said the Kenyan authorities should not have expelled the Ogieks from their ancestral land. The court later ordered Kenya to compensate the Ogiek and to grant them a collective land title. We arrived just days after the National Land Commission visited to chart the way forward. Nothing was decided yet, but 7 years after the initial ruling, this was a step forward.
The government has been saying that the Ogiek people deserve to get the land, but they've continued giving the land to other people.
There aren't exact records detailing just how many Ogiek remain today. In eastern Mau alone, about 80,000 Ogiek people are formally registered. Their wish is to have a place where they can speak their native tongue, perform their rites, and to hunt and gather, just like their forefathers.
We are fighting to get our land so that our children can get an education, become leaders, and our community can stand out.
Home to them is where the bees buzz and the birds chirp, and sacred rites are carried out in peaceful, private spaces.
Our intention is to ensure our language, culture and traditions aren't lost, so that when we aren't there, our community will remain with our children.
One day, when the land question is resolved, home is where the Ogieks hope to return.
Welcome guys to the channel where our United Africa is an undisputed Africa. Welcome to the WSXM. So anyway, so the Ogiek tribe, as I saw in the video, is from Kenya. Kenya is an indigenous tribe and they had lost their land. Well, the government had run them off the land, basically take the land and tell them, go somewhere to live, modernize and leave the forest alone because we want it for development. But the court intervened, which was good, and tell the government, no, you cannot do that. These people have been there for aeons, from the devil was a child. They have been there. So now you can't put them off yet. So then they now won the court case and they have like a designated amount of acres specifically for them. So you cannot be run off or push off, and they are a hunter tribe. And I've been noticing this trend all over Africa with indigenous tribes like the Ogiek, where they're being forced off property, they're being pushed back and pushing them because the continent is so fast developing. They need some of these real estate to sell to for companies to do industrial and kind of work, but they can do it without giving up these areas because the continent is so vast, it's so huge. There's tons of land that can be used for development and still save back the indigenous people like the Ogiek tribe to keep their home, where they live, so they can hunt, live off the land, and don't have to depend on the government. Because these people don't live off the government. They live off, as they said in this video, off honey, and they sell. If they sell the honey, and they hunt for the meat, and they cook and all that in the forests. And majority of these tribes, this is what they do. They hunt. They stay by themselves. They don't westernize. They don't modernize. They don't have no modern clothing. It's old school. Everything from the huts to the beds to the bow and arrow to the knives and the machete is all indigenous. So big ups, well, to the government for even though they was taken to court, but they still have to give up the land. So big ups to them, and big ups to whoever fought on the Ogiek tribe side and have them win this landmark decision to return all the property that they have been inhabited for decades and eons and centuries and so forth and so forth. So this is what I love about the continent Africa. It surprises me every day, because sometimes you get something bad and then you also see some good and some tribes and the way how we used to live before the world was modernized and before the world was forced upon them. So thanks for that to whoever assisted the tribe, and also all of the tribes all over the continent. Me myself, whenever I ever get the chance to visit the continent, I want to visit some of these tribes myself personally. I don't want to go in the tourist area. I don't want to go on a safari. I want to see the tribes, the indigenous tribes, how they live, eat, drink, interact, and marriage and all that. I want to see how all that is done, if it's how true they are to it, and if they're not being forced to modernize. So anyway, thanks for watching. I don't know. It's a WSXM podcast as always. Tell a friend. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace, one love. Boom.